Hey guys, it's Ken Maxfield, the Hide Guy. I am the owner and the managing editor of the Maxfield Report, and this is our market recap for the week ending July the 13th. The week started off with Packers offers, noticeably fewer than the past few weeks. Many of the Packers had some selections that, some of the popular hide selections, I should say, that were not on their list. Those who were willing to offer some of the more popular selections were not bashful. They were coming out with offers $1 higher than the week prior. But all across the board, I would say offers were anywhere from steady to $1 higher. Most noticeably, the biggest change was the shipment times had moved out substantially by a couple of weeks. A lot of the offers were for either second half August, early September. So, of course, Packers feeling pretty good about their overall sold forward position. Had a very firm posture to start the week. Week started off as far as interest with, some people stepping in and bidding right away, finding that Packers weren't willing to negotiate prices and ended up paying full ask. As the week progressed, the Packers were touting that they had some pretty decent interest this week. A couple of the different Packers telling customers they had sold over a couple of hundred containers at their full asking price. So end of the day, it looks like Packers did okay this week. Did they sell 655,000 hides, which was the knock this week? Debatable, but certainly sold plenty of hides. But the biggest thing is they sold them at full ask and unwilling to negotiate prices at all. On the cowhide side, offers were pretty much for the most part unchanged. There's a lot of chatter about how interest over the past couple of weeks has allowed the cow market to at least perhaps put in a bottom. Guys trying to bid the market down are finding producers unwilling to trade below the last traded levels. That said, it seems really difficult to get prices higher there, but this week saw interest a little sluggish to start the week. As people came in, they tested the bottoms of the market. Nobody would take anything less. Processors insisting on steady levels, and it looks like, for the most part, cowhides were traded at steady levels, although dairy cows are reflecting slightly higher levels as there's just not as many offered. As far as the knock this week, as mentioned just a minute ago, it was 655,000. That compares to 573 last week, shortened by the holiday, and as a comparison, last year we saw 650,000 this week. Overall, the harvest is up 1.2% for the year. As far as the export report came in, let's bring that up here so we can give it back to you here. Having a little bit of computer difficulty, so we may have to come back to that. So what we'll do is we'll see if we can't get that back up as we go around the world here. Our friends in Europe continue to talk about difficult situations trying to trade, having trouble getting people to pay, buyers to pay their asking prices. A lot of complaints about buyers bidding prices aggressively lower, not wanting to pay full asking price, sellers reluctant to take lower money. So still a lot of grief and aggravation going on in Europe. Apparently still a lot of hides unsold there. Vacations are coming up, business is tough, and we're not aware of anybody in Europe who's selling hides on a weekly basis that's really that enamored with the market. Our friends down in Brazil tell us that there's really no change to the market. Fresh hides somewhere in the neighborhood of around 50, 55, 60, 65 reais, depending on how many you're taking, etc. As far as blue hides, lots of blue unsold. Wet blue TR1s are hovering around a 40-45 cent level. That's almost to a point where if it goes any lower, they can't get the money out of them to blue them, leading to thoughts that the producers are going to draw a line in the sand. They aren't going to take anything less. As far as Australia, it seems like interest on better quality hides is helping to keep those prices steady. Still a lot of lower grade, lower quality type hides for sale. Pressure on those prices, and thoughts that that's probably going to have to take a little less money to get those traded. As we've been talking, we were able to bring up those export figures, so let's touch on those real quick. Wet salted sales were disappointing last week at 303,700 hides. As far as exports, they came in at 423,500 hides. A little better than what it has been the past few weeks, but still for the last, say, 6 weeks, the shipments are still trailing that harvest by a lot, about 100,000 hides every week. As far as wet blue, a surprising number, 223,500 sold. Remember, first week of the month, you've got all of the long-term arrangements added into that. So that, we could debate what percentage that is, but I would say at least half, if not 60% of that 223 is the long-term arrangements for the month of July. As far as exports on wet blue, 141,100 hides. So overall this week, I think sellers have had a decent week of sales. As far as what we look forward to next week, we think that offer lists will probably be a little shorter basis of the decent sales. We wouldn't be surprised these guys ask a little bit more money. The debate in the trade is the recent interest we've been seeing is a result of leather business showing signs of improving, or is it some buyers coming in trying to buy some of the best hides of the year at the lowest prices? You can subscribe to whatever argument you want. Still a lot of, mixed indicators in the market as far as, we talked about the unsold hides around the world. Shipments in the U.S. Over the second quarter are about 1.25 million below the actual harvest. That concerns me. So we're not disacknowledging that the market is very firm right now. We just question how much upside's in it. So that's it for now. Ken Maxfield, the Hide Guy. Check out my website at www.themaxfieldreport.com. I do offer free 14-day trials. Come and check it out. Until next week, we'll see you then. Thanks.